time, faster than ever, hungry and I'm going to come back and take what is mine, bigger and better. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. Saddle, cut to the chase. I ain't somebody who stays in one place. Ready to go, I'm coming to play. You better know I still got something to say. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. Some things are different, but nothing has changed. Still got my number, still got my name. Tell everybody I'm back in the game. match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know that I was born for this. I was born for this. Never met a match I couldn't handle. No one else could ever hold a candle. Get ready for a battle, cause you know I was born. I tell you I was born for this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I was born for this.
Hey, we're back in the saddle again. Haven't done this in at least over 10 days. Hope everybody had an exciting 4th of July summer break. And we're ready to rock and roll again. Welcome to iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network as we are back with the Northwest Racing Series. The trucks are here. Tonight is round 14, and we are at Circuit of the Americas. Good evening to you. I'm Wesley Outland. Joined alongside is Samuel Dyer in California. I'm in stormy North Carolina tonight. And in Heat Wave Lone Star, Texas is Charles Wooten running our buttons on the production. Samuel, hope you had a great 4th of July. I think we're all trying to get back into the rhythm of things. What a great race course to come back after a nice long break than Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, especially for the truck guys. I mean, it's been a real weird last couple of weeks. We had that 1 week off from that of the week 13 sprint. Then we had 2 races. Then we had last week with 4th of July, and now we're back. It's been kind of a weird jumble. I know for me, I'm trying to still shake the rust off of commentating because I've been on quite a long break myself. But a nice 4th of July for myself, Wesley, and I think for the drivers, they're excited to just get back to racing.
Well, we're here at the 20-turn road course. That is the racetrack of Circuit of the Americas. These drivers will be ready to go for an exciting race for the trucks. We're ready for them here tonight. Let's take a look at the race analysis for this evening's event as these drivers are going to go 32 laps. Sorry, not race analysis. I meant weather conditions. That's right. I meant weather conditions. Air temperature is 73 degrees. Wind speed, 9 to 10 miles an hour. Track temperature, though, holy cow, that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. What's it going to be like fighting the bear of the sun? I know it's just partly cloudy, but there's all sunshine over this pavement right now at Circuit of the Americas, and it's almost 30 degrees warmer than the air temp there, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long race for these drivers, and that track temp is going to get heated up when the drivers get on track. And it doesn't help that the fact that it's only partly cloudy. That means that these drivers are not going to get a lot of cloud coverage, so that heat is going to continue to rise throughout this race on this 3.43-mile length of a course. It's going to be a long one. Like you said, 20 corners. You're going to be using a lot of those brakes, getting back into the throttle, which gives you opportunities to squeal, slide, and mess up those tires even faster with the cheese grater of the heat.
This track, 5.513 kilometers long. In miles, 3.426 miles, 3.426 miles. And you know, Samuel, I'm coming off of doing a CRN Sports broadcast from Rockingham, and it wasn't just at Rockingham Speedway this past Sunday for the Summer Showdown. It was on the road course, the Roval, just like at Charlotte at Rockingham, and it was pretty exciting to cover some road course racing. So looking forward to see what Circuit of the Americas offers tonight. 20 turns. This is one of the gruelingest race courses probably in the world. It started with Formula One and, of course, MotoGP, and then the last couple of years, Samuel, it's been the home of NASCAR. And man, this should be an exciting event here. It's an awesome addition on the iRacing simulation. And every time we've came here with the Cup car recently, a couple of months ago for the Northwest Series, it did not disappoint. What do you think we'll see different or similar for the truck race tonight?
Yeah, I think a big thing for these drivers is just trying to survive the first couple of corners. They're going to be, again, on cold tires at the start of this race. Yes, the track temp is going to be warm, but you want to be consistent. That's going to be the big thing. Stay on track, which in this first couple of corners is difficult to do, especially in the first half of this race. We have what we call the S's, which is going to be after the very tough first corner, going uphill and trying to practically turn completely around on a U-turn. You go down into the S's faction where the drivers, it's going to be a tough place to try to stay on track, because if you just miss one corner, it can throw you off and mess you up all the way through, which is going to lose you a lot of time. As we hop on board with Sean Breisman here, which is going to give us a pretty good inkling in how the driver's going to handle it as he's going down what we call the backstretch heading towards turns 12. But this track, this second half is where you can gain a lot of time on these drivers, but you have to be very precise. But the S's in the first half, you can make a big mistake and it can ruin your truck if you hit one of the what we call the turtles, or one of the bumpers that could really put these trucks into midair and cause a big wreck.
Oh, yeah, and we have truck qualifying going on right now as here comes the 2020 Northwest Cup Series champion, the Brights Boutique Entry Toyota, Sean Brightsman, on course, ready to go in the number 46 machine. We'll see where he can go. By the way, one of the things I kind of kept an eye on is this 20-turn road course, Samuel, but obviously you mentioned words like the chicane, the bus stop, the S's, the carousel. Oh, and mind you, when they come out of turn number 20 and work their way back to the start-finish line, how about that long 600-foot elevation climb? You're about to see it right now as here comes Sean Brightsman past the start-finish line, and Samuel up the big hill he goes. And this is a big, big, big change in elevation where a lot of things can change also in the race today.
Yeah, the 46 right now, cooling off. He is done with his first laps of qualifying and is done. Going to be second on the board to that of a driver that we're expecting to really dominate here tonight, of Paul Newton. As we take a look here at Chris White, our last season's Cup season championship driver. This 6, when he's been showing up, it's been really a showcase of where he's going to finish here tonight, as it's been pretty inconsistent at moments. But Chris White here tonight, one of the, again, where it's more so if you're racing the track more than the drivers around you.
Chris White, ironically, 2020 and 2021 Northwest Cup Series champions. We've been watching now as here comes the Willie's Addictive Barbecue number 6 machine on the race course. We'll see what he can do. We mentioned 20 turns here at Circuit of the Americas. It is a very unique race course. One of the things that we kind of hit on a little bit of, Samuel, before we got off subject with our next qualifier, is the climb of the elevation when they come past the start-finish line. There's literally been people that in real life sit on the top of Circuit of the Americas and took a picture, and once you get to the top of that hill like Chris White's climbing right now, you can't even see until somebody pops back up at you again.
Yeah, then you go do the drop down into the start of our S's here. This is going to be turns 2 all the way to that of turn 10, the windiness you got to go. And as the drivers come across, you're going to see these yellow, kind of what we call turtles. If you hit them, you're going to be going up in the air. Got to be careful of those aspects, as going through the first initial part of the S's, much more consistent in more tight corners. Here for the 6 is getting prepared to go down into turn 9, 10. But what's most important here, Wesley, once you get to the top of the hill through the S's, you drop right down into turn number 11. Another hairpin, very difficult corner, but a great passing zone for these drivers.
Yeah, once you climb through the S's, that's going to drop you down to about 120 some odd miles an hour. Then you work into turn number 10 and 11, and that's when you really got to get on the brakes. But then you start going downhill into turn number 12 to turn through 12. Another couple of sharp left and right handers, as we mentioned, which will lead you into turn number 16. And you're on the binders. You're on the brakes right here. Watch as he has to negotiate from speed on the brakes right around to this part of the race course. And then you see him kind of weasel his way around another turn. Got to make that break again, make another driver left, and you got to save that truck right around the turn number 16 to 19. And then once again, Samuel, once you get to turn 19, there's another straightaway that gets you back out to turn number 20, where you can finally settle home. He's at that part of the race course right now where you can clear around this part and go back to the start-finish line.
Well, you're a little bit ahead of yourself. You're about 5 turns ahead. As going
I'm
down
looking
into
at
turn,
paperwork. I'm sorry.
turn 19 now, but yeah, a little jumpy on those corners, but certainly going down now into turn number 20 is going to be seeing this of Chris White up through the straightaway and to the climb like you were talking about.
Here he comes. Okay.
And for Chris White, this is going to be his last, already went around this course, just trying to get more acclimated to this track. You can see 5 seconds off of our pole time, and that's Ryan Bloom currently on top of the board. With his time, though, for Ryan Bloom, almost over a half a second faster than our Sonoma winner earlier this season of Paul Newton. Ryan Bloom, he is certainly, and we've talked about this last season coming into the playoffs, when you got a week off, as a week of practice to perfect the next track, and Ryan Bloom has certainly tried to perfect COTA here.
The Boise State Broncos Ford, number 25. Of course, he's also the 2021 ARCA Northwest E-Racing Series iRacing champion in the number 25. We'll see what he can do here. It's been a while since he's changed up his colors. Last month or so, he's been driving the Broncos machine after a long stint in the Monster Energy colors. And right now, we'll see where he'll end up as qualifying is continuing on. And all the while, right now, unofficially, he's got a pretty good run sitting in first, Samuel.
Yeah, and he might actually be able to best his time into turn number 12. He's got to get really off this corner, and he's not actually going to be able to do so. I think a little bit of a mistake back at the S's, but certainly Ryan Bloom going to be a threat here this evening. And that time, not too bad. Actually would have kept Ryan Bloom in the top 10, even with the fall off that he had there from lap 1 to lap 2.
Yeah, he's still in the number 1 spot, so give him a fast lap time for the number 25. 2:14.55 is what the time looks like. His qualifying is just about over. Yeah, so there's your fast qualifier, and we are ready for Circuit of the Americas. By the way, this race course, 3.41 miles long, 11 left turns, 9 right turns, 42 to 52 feet wide, 130-foot elevation change. Welcome to Circuit of the Americas, round 14 for the Northwest iRacing Truck Series, and we're ready for the lineup. On the pole, Ryan Bloom, you mentioned him a moment ago, the Boise, Idaho Broncos machine. Fast qualifier to the outside, Paul Newton. It's road course time, never count him out. He's ready to go in row 1. Row 2, Sean Brightsman, 46, and Cole Raz of the number 10. Row number 3, we'll find Jeff Stapp now in the 24, and Stephen O'Hare in the 41. Row 4, Robert Gamble in that 54 truck. He's on the inside of row 4 to the outside. Caden Anderson, the driver of the 37 from Yakima, Washington. And your top 10 will find Jaden Ledbetter, one of our new series competitors on the Northwest in the 36, and Clifford Toby Ritters. We'll see what the 23 can do. He's your top 10.
Then and back in row number 6, we find that of the 6 machine of Chris White, as well as that of John Ottbacher to his outside. Row number 7, going to be Dylan Huffines in the 20, with Carl Burke in the 53 to the outside for row number 7. Row 8 brings us that of BJ Tidrick and Tyler King in the 21, with row number 9 going to be bringing up that of Kevin Smith in the 00, and also Dean Moore. Watch out for Kevin Smith. He was quick during practice, didn't put a qualifying time down, so the 00 certainly be a driver to watch out for, as well as Dennis Moore in the 44 and Troy Daggett in the 99. And then in row number 11, more drivers that didn't qualify, but fast runner, that of Devin West, going to be in 5th for the number 5, going to be a driver to watch out for, with that of Chris going to be in the 15 for row number 11, as well as going to have Dan West Jr. in the 55 with Aaron Cooper in the 71. Going to be the outside, and the driver shotgun here tonight, it's Frank Harris in the 11.
Well, that is the starting lineup. Field is rolling. 32 laps coming up here By the way, one thing we'll mention is there will not be a plethora of yellow flags. There will be one caution flag called sometime between laps 16 and 21. Now, Samuel, we saw something like that happen with the Northwest trucks and Cup cars at Road America, the last races we had before the 4th of July break. And sometime between laps 16 and 21 on a 32-lap race, do you think that could really, really change the complexion of things, or is it just have some strategy here?
It certainly can change the complexion for these drivers, especially if they feel like there's a lot of tire wear going on. We might see some drivers decide to come in at halfway of this race or wait until the comp caution comes out. But certainly drivers, with the window being at the halfway to almost 10 laps to go, 12 laps to go in the race, these drivers are going to have a lot to think about. Do you want to come in? Do you try to guess when you want to come into pit road to use your set of tires and fuel? If you're expecting just a one stop here this evening, or do you just wait for the yellow? It's going to be a big question for all these drivers, but certainly I love the fact that there is a comp caution to bring everyone back to one another.
Oh, and by the way, as the pace car makes the left-hand turn onto the pit lane, scampering from the field as they work out of turn number 20, and they get ready to come to the official start, we're ready for 8 weeks that leads up to Labor Day weekend, and a race towards the playoffs and a run for the championship. Strap in, Circuit of the Americas, ready to come to the line, green flag in the air. Ryan Bloom pulls away as they climb the hill. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race here at Circuit of the Americas, and the leader jumps the turn, and oh my goodness, Samuel, just like that, he falls in the top 10.
It's like he didn't even have brakes. Ryan Bloom from the lead back to 7th. Good thing he had an advantage, and he had such a good launch, didn't lose even more time as they go down through the S's. One mistake can be costly, and Ryan Bloom continues to have mistakes.
This is through the S's into turn number 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. And look out! No. Trouble, sideways, going around Moore's truck in 33.
Dean Moore, as well as that of Camary, going to be having those issues with contact with one another. That's going to be that of Dean Moore in the 33 losing ground. But Wesley, we've seen a lot of drivers during road courses. The first couple of laps are maddening because we see so many drivers go off course. Right now, there's going to be more lockups. Heavy damage for the front bumper of Kevin Smith.
Yeah, right in front of Dylan Huffines. Kevin Smith already 2 wins this year for the 00. And Devin West on the binders in front of them as well. Just craziness here on lap number 1. They ain't even completed officially a lap yet. Welcome to Circuit of the Americas. And all the while, you are going to have Ryan King. Look at this, Samuel, already with damage on the 21 truck.
Yeah, Tyler King right now, this 21, already a bunch of scrapes. Everyone is having some type of issue, it seems like, for the middle on back of the field. Even our pole sitter Ryan Bloom, we saw in that first corner, blowing the corner completely and giving a complete wide open look. But here's going to be Chris Camary. Camary ran into the 33, front damage got to worry about. And Dan West, they're both having some issues trying to move forward.
Oh my goodness, and Tyler King again with damage at all continues on. There's Devin West, winner at Bristol. He's got his daddy behind him, and oh my goodness, here comes the conga line, the cavalry, working now around turn number 16 to 19.
Oh, Chris Camary, also another issue for the 15. Spins around again, losing over 4 or 5 positions. He's now back to last place.
Welcome to, guys, you've been off for 4th of July. Maybe they've been out in the sun too long, Samuel. What do you think? We're back at it again here.
And that's not where you want to be. Chris White on where the pain is, and that's exactly where you don't want to be getting onto the brakes. You want to be on the concrete so the brakes and the tires will react. Otherwise, you're going to continue to slide. And right now, I believe that's a yielding penalty that 6 was given. He had to stop to make sure that he gave up all the time that he had gained for cutting a course earlier on, it looked like, and losing over that 3 positions. Everyone's struggling right now. Wesley, first driver into pit road. Kevin Smith, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, Samuel, Chris better getting up to speed or he's going to get plowed from behind, like literally going down the hill. He's just going to get ran into. Oh, here we go again. Oh, locking them up. Ryan Bloom, Stephen O'Hare. All this going on. Circuit of the Americas. What a sharp racetrack. 20 turns here, Samuel.
It's incredible to watch as, oh boy, Camary, Cooper trying to go up into the out of turn 10, down to turn 11, and the 15 has to be slow, giving up time. And now again, it's going to be a big thing for these drivers going through the S's in the first you call stint of this course. If you cut any corner, you will be given a yielding penalty, where it's anywhere from that of a half a second to that of 6 seconds. You will have to slow down and give up time to give back to all the competitors that you have stolen by cutting a corner. Now, for this track, very easy to cut a corner if you block up the brakes or make a miscalculation. So drivers going to have a handful all night long, but as well, Wesley, drivers that are locking up their brakes, you're seeing a lot of that puff of smoke. They're going to be hurting those tires, and we still got a long way to go before we even get close to the opening of our competition caution.
And I'll tell you what, watching these drivers work their way around the course, back to start finish, you're seeing them now out of turn number 20. Here comes now the driver, winner of Sonoma. Remember, Paul Newton, right there, crossing the line. He's up to second now. Just one of those drivers, Samuel, that when it's road course racing, he is there and he is a contender. He's looking now for his second win of the year. Turning left, turning right. Oh, and by the way, the trucks, my friend, are at Road America next Thursday night as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to say, watching these drivers right now, it has been great to watch. Sean Bryceman having a good run. Paul Newton, though, I got to say, this has been an incredible season for the 27. He's had only two quote-unquote poor finishes this season, of finishing that of 37th at Richmond and 17th at Daytona. Besides that, he's had himself finishing 13th, 11th, and I mean, 2 11th place finishes. And besides those 4 races, Wesley, I mean, 5 races, Wesley, he is finishing the top 10 every single race besides those 5.
Yeah, certainly a talent as here comes Devin West on the inside, driver left of Toby Ritters. Ritters almost hit the turtles. Watch out, buddy. Father West behind them, working them up around the racetrack. So is Ledbetter down in the grass. He's got more behind him. All the while, this goes on to the top 15. Oh, and by the way, Samuel Dennis Moore, that's the points leader in that Moore Speed number 44 machine, mired all the way back to the top 15 right now.
Yeah, and he's really one of those drivers that needs to have a good run. We had over 10 drivers not qualify, that being Devin West and Dan West Jr. going to be in the biggest movers of those drivers that didn't qualify right now. Got to say that for the 5 and the 55, certainly looking good. That of Dennis Moore trying to follow in their tracks, but you can tell by trying to make these passes, some of these drivers are really using up those tires, which if you're locking up and sliding now, only on lap 3, it's just going to get worse each and every lap. It's going to be small little, adjustments that you're going to have to make, but it's going to get real bad here in about that of 5 to 6 laps.
There goes Moore. And now we see father-son trying to run down Ottenbacher, who got some PR love as being the truck on the front of the Flyers to advertise the return after the 4th of July break. The Green 89 into Billings, Montana. Here comes that position going on, and that goes on, Samuel, for 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th coming at you. Make it 15th as they work around the corner there.
Yeah, it's going to be really 14th on back that we're seeing in this group, as well as 15th with Toby Ritters. Going to be about 2.5 seconds back where we find Dylan Huffines in 16th. But this group, closest small group we have on track currently. That's why we got to keep our eyes on it as father and son duo, that of Devin West, the son, father Dan West Jr., 10th and 11th currently for themselves. Continue to race on, but both drivers, Wesley, were up inside of our top 5, top 10 in practice time. Both did not qualify. That's why they're having to work so hard and are right now our biggest movers of the night.
Through the S's. Oh, by the way, somebody tell the digital scoreboard that you saw it start finish. It is not lap 0. There is not a big fat goose egg on the scoreboard. It is now currently 3 laps completed of 32. Yes, 3 of 32 here in Circuit of the Americas. We're glad you're here. Road course racing. Samuel, and I got to say this, man, is it comfortable when you come back after a 4th of July holiday break? I mean, let's be honest. These drivers have not raced since many of them 2 weeks ago for the truck series, if you will. And it has been since last Monday when a Northwest Racing Series esports event took place. That was the Cup event at Road America. The last truck race was 13 days earlier than that from Road America as well. So the question is this: is it relaxed to return back after a nice hiatus at a road course, or would you rather prefer to be on the oval?
Well, I mean, for these drivers, I would imagine they would have preferred to go back to an oval, but the fact that they do have a road course gives them time to at least try to perfect this track. Like I was talking about, Ryan Bloom's qualifying time was incredible to watch and see for himself, being over that of a half a second faster than second place runner Paul Newton. But I gotta say, for a lot of these drivers, I think they would have felt a lot more comfortable going to an oval, but they're not gonna see an oval for a couple of weeks. I mean, we're not going back to an quote-unquote oval type course until that of July 28th. We've got tonight at COTA. Next week, we're going to Road America, which is going to be a tough track, like we saw for the Cup drivers just out of a few weeks ago. And then they go to the tricky triangle at Pocono for July 21st. And then it's the 28th. We go short track racing at New Hampshire.
Okay, so technically, Pocono is a racetrack, not a road course, but it is a very tricky triangle place. It's a triangle race course, so definitely it's in a unique place for sure. So, and looking forward to seeing Pocono. We haven't been there any this year, so going to be fun. New Hampshire, all on the way. And here's the thing, Samuel, all of these categories, as we're watching the West family, the Audenbachers, the Moore, go through the S's, these sharp turns where you precisely got to hit your marks. While all this goes on, my friend, this is the 8-week stretch. We're on for 8 solid weeks before we take another week off, and that's Labor Day weekend to decide the points, the playoffs, and who's racing for a championship in 2022.
Well, it's an 8-week stint, and then we got our, like you said, week off, which is Labor Day weekend, as well as the week 13 that's coming, which that could bring some updates that could change these trucks for the drivers going into the playoffs. But then we have one race after that at Darlington, and then it's playoff racing action. So the drivers, yes, they'll get a break off, but they've got a lot to learn before the Darlington race will be the last regular season race before our top 12 in points get to move on and race for a championship.
That's right. Let's look at Stephen O'Hare, Tyler King. They're going at it. They're in the 21, watching them coming around the racetrack. That's in 7th and 8th position. As honestly, things have kind of calmed down a little bit. They've calmed down a little bit. Sean Brightsman, half a second lead over Newton, and I spoke too soon. Here goes Ledbetter going off course. Dylan Huffines reeling him in.
And easy peasy, one mistake. As long as you can keep your truck on track, you're going to be moving forward, and that's what we're seeing here from Dylan Huffines. Doing a great job, but both these drivers have been losing some ground. That of Ledbetter that we're right on board with currently for the 36. He's lost 7 positions from where he qualified up in 9th place, now down to 16th. But watching these drivers, 4 different gears they get to work through, but some, they'll feel comfortable. They'll keep it in that 3rd to 4th and transition from there. Others will shift down to 2nd, some even risking going down into 1st. You see Ledbetter do so on the exit of turn 20 up the front stretch. But all these drivers, it's all a comfort zone for themselves if you're not some of the fastest drivers up front or top 5 to top 10.
Watching Ledbetter closing in. He is in 16th, trying to come after Dylan Huffines. Another thing we really haven't hit it on, we mentioned a couple of times at start of turn number 1, Samuel, but one of the things is as you work your way through the S's and you get to the ladder. Oh, whoa!
And there's the turtle I was talking about.
There.
You hit that
That's
yellow turtle, and it will launch you up in the air, and it can give you some extreme that of internal damage for your suspension. You got to be careful, and for Ledbetter, he got probably the safest damage you could have gotten from it, and that's just going up on 2 wheels.
Can you say I believe I can fly? Wow. That was Huffines there at Ledbetter, and all the while, where that little mistake happened by Ledbetter, he didn't lose a lot of ground on Dylan Huffines because Dylan Huffines had his own little problem in front of them as they work on negotiate around this corner. Man, you see the trucks just bobbing left and right like they're in a squirt circle like a heavyweight boxer. Samuel, that just shows you how handling these trucks are trying to negotiate with them.
Yeah, and the big thing is when drivers have to shift down into first gear on the exit of the corner, it is so dangerous. If you get onto the throttle too soon, you could be finding yourself spinning out instantly. So drivers are constantly trying to make sure that they're not getting too much wheel spin into these, aggressive exit of the corners. But at the same time, you have to be aggressive if you want to get up to speed and have an opportunity to go for a passes. Huff finds mistakes, wobbles, and there goes Ledbetter making the pass.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time where he got it done, and Ledbetter, though, hang on there, Ledbetter, almost overshot, got turned there, hold on. Is he able to reel it back in? Oh, mind you, we're on lap number 6. Sometime between laps 16 to 21 will be our caution. The scoreboard says 0, but it's not. We're on lap number 6 as you watch Tyler King now jump the little bump there. But Samuel, one thing I was going to mention is we were talking about the battle between Ledbetter and Huffines as they work through the S's again, snaking through the corners. Is the more further you go up the race course to turn 12, 13 on back to turn 20, the elevation drops. It climbs when you're going into start finish up into 1 and 2 through the S's. But as you get to the end of the S's, the elevation, air temperature, the air elevation is what I meant to say, feet drops down, and you go downhill more than you go uphill until you get back to start finish.
Yeah, you do a lot of different elevation changes, especially through the S's. Like when you are flying through this course, dropping down into turn number 11, a great passing zone here, where in the last couple of laps, Dan West Jr. has gotten by the 5 of Devin West, and now trying to set up how to get by that of Caden Anderson. But a lot of drivers been going up and down and making sure that they're trying to not lock up the brakes too much, especially when you're going downhill. Very easily, you can lock up those brakes, continue to slide on through. As Devin and Dan West got to be careful. They're blinking in and out, and they could be having simultaneous issues if they're not careful.
Brightsman, Newton, Raz, Bloom, Stabnow, your top 5. Quiet night so far for Caden Anderson outside the top 10. He's in 11th, but he's trying to crack that, trying to get around Devin West.
Trying to get by, and now it's fight back if you can. As Caden Anderson, road courses have not always been the best racing for the 37, always caught up with mistakes. He's fast at moments, but the consistency issues have been there for the 37. And once again, just trying to find a place to slot in here tonight. I think if anything, Caden Anderson would be happy for anything inside of our top 12, the top 13. Right now, currently in 11th, not a bad place for the 37.
Yep, certainly is right now on lap number 8. About to cross the start-finish line. Here comes the rest of the cavalry in the top 10. And all the while, it is Sean Brightsman, the leader. Paul Newton second. Look at this right now as you see the leaders working their way around the S's. Here's the thing, Samuel. One wrong slip by Sean Brightsman. He's got a 3-truck tandem right behind him in the likes of Paul Newton, Cole Raz, and Ryan Bloom. Oh, let Paul Newton about hit the turtle there. He was dirt tracking through the end of the S's.
That's the big thing, is you want to get as close as you can to the turtles, but don't hit it coming through the S's. As right now, watching this group, yes, Paul Newton's been quick. He's been trying to catch up Sean Brightsman. He gains and loses time. The inconsistency is there. But Wesley, the driver that's on the move, Ryan Bloom, has been putting down burner laps. He's been the most consistent. Everyone else up in our top 4. Top 3 drivers running 2-minute 18-second times, while Ryan Bloom running just inside of a 2-minute 16-second moment time for himself. So running about 2 to almost 3 seconds faster than our leaders.
Sean Brightsman is the leader. We're watching now 2nd, 3rd, and 4th reel him in like a hot knife through butter as they work their way around this 20-turn circuit of the Americas course here. iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. And all the while, as Brightsman still holds the field at bay, Newton is there. 2 truck links back, though, comes Cole Raz. Battle for P2 as they work around turn number 15 and 16 here at the Circuit of the Americas at COTA.
Yeah, right now, the big thing for Paul Newton, he's starting to fall off on his pace, which is curious to watch out for. Is he using up the tires too much? Or is Cole Raz just finding his rhythm a little bit better here? Again, we're 8 laps in, coming up to lap 9 to start up here shortly. right now, Sean Breisman's been very consistent with his times, running a 2-minute 18.8 second time. He's been slowly ran in, but here we go, Wesley, the climb. Who's going to get that second place position?
Yeah, that position going on is working down lap number 8. Look at them weasel their way around the racetrack as here comes now opportunity as Newton opens the door. Here comes Cole Rass. He'll take it, and he'll move his way down to the number 2 position. Newton will fall back now to 3rd. Ryan Bloom will fall back to 4th as they work their way now heading to the S's.
Yeah, you know, one of these laps got to ride on board with that of Ryan Bloom, because this 25 has been just putting down such fast lap times. Since he's caught up to this group, though, he's been finding a little bit of slower times, but watch how aggressive he's going to be up here, trying to go towards that turn, that of 11. That's going to be climbing up here for turn 8, 9, coming around the corner here for 10, and then the downshoot to turn 11 here. Past turn 10, down to 11. Ryan Bloom not close enough to try to make an attack, but it's about getting off the exit of this corner to set up the long backstretch here for the 25 into first gear. Can he get out of the corner fast? Not as good as he was hoping. Much quicker was Paul Newton and Cole Rass.
On board with Ryan Bloom, up to 4th gear. Already at 160, 70 miles an hour. And then look at that, Samuel, quickly on the binders from 100+ miles an hour, 170 miles an hour to triple digits gone and under at 65.
Yeah, I mean, the brakes on these for these drivers certainly being brutalized here tonight. Paul Newton being very defensive on that line, staying low, trying to hit the apex and not give any opening for Ryan Bloom, which could hurt him on the exit for the 27. But Cole Rass starting to find himself in a better run, trying to catch up to Sean Breisman, which Breisman still winless this season for the 46. Surprising to say that, as this is race number 14 of the season. Usually at this point, Breisman's got 2 wins, maybe even 3.
We are working lap number 9, completed this time by when they come to the start-finish line. Sean Breisman, Cole Rass, Paul Newton, Ryan Bloom, and Robert Gamble is currently your top 5. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification on the radio on 87.9, the Community Radio Network, and of course, iRacing on LSRTV. We're back from COTA in just a moment.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to other games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
And of course, effective July 1st, our FM frequencies have changed. We're now on 87.9 FM. The thing is, Samuel, everybody's been on vacation. We got to take care of getting all that new stuff taken care of as far as in the graphics world. But we got something really exciting for. Got iRacing continuing, real race broadcasts like Rockingham this past weekend. Pretty excited to be a part of that on CRN. We've got football, the East-West All-Star Game, the East-West We Journal Great Sports Basketball All-Stars leading up to college and high school sports starting in August. A lot of great things, and we're glad that iRacing with the Northwest Cup and Truck, Samuel, is along for the ride on iRacing on LSRTV, as well as on the Community Radio Network.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure to be covering iRacing here on LSRTV, and, you know, getting to see the different aspects as well as being on CRN, branching out to different communities to allow them to hear some of the best racing out here in the Northwest, and certainly been putting on a show. Wesley, got to give an update, though, for drivers further back. 3 drivers have called it a night. Chris Camary, Carl Burke, and Dylan Huffines are done for this race so far. Chris White, unexpected pit stop, the 6, still in pit road, trying to get service done. He could be calling it a night early as well.
Do you find that unusual for drivers to be calling it a night here early in the race, just 10 laps in, Samuel?
I mean, in some ways, yes, others, no. I mean, some of those drivers, Chris Camary, he was caught up in the first lap incident with that of Dean Moore, and then had multiple of issues in the first 3 laps calling it early. Not surprised for the 15. Carl Burke, a little bit surprised, but I think for the 53, as well for the 20, they both were losing so much time and ground, just were not feeling comfortable on the track. They said, you know what, we'll just take the points that we can. We'll call it a night for ourselves. Chris White, another big surprise. He qualified 11th. Thought maybe he could fight for a top 15 run, but obviously after being passed by some of the faster drivers, felt like, you know what, I might call it a night early as well.
And all the while, we now look at these drivers in 7th and 8th position, father and son right there with one another since this race has started, working their way back around the course here in COTA, the Geico zone, working now around the corners, trying to close in. It's going to be the driver of Moore. Dennis Moore had his problem, Samuel. He's got to reboot. So does also the 33 of Moore. So both of those drivers with problems, but again, still a long way to go in this race to try to rebound and get back going again. And you got to remember, somewhere between laps 16 to 21, we will see a yellow flag here to re-rack the field in pit stops.
Yeah, and one driver is already coming to pit road for a stop. That's going to be his pass for second place. Ryan Bloom getting by that of the 10 of Cole Raz there on the entry of turn 12. Great pass by the 25. Just got the better toe and launch into the corner. As now his next target will be Sean Breisman after the major mistake by the 25 on lap number 1, corner number 1. But looking back, Kevin Smith came in pit road back that of 9 laps ago, and for the 00, one of our only drivers to have to use a fast repair because of the heavy front end damage that he got on lap 1. Curious on how Kevin Smith's going to run once we get our comp caution, but like you said, 16 to that of 18 is going to be the window. 16 to 21.
Yeah, lap 16 to 21. And my thing is this, Samuel, do you see anybody roll the dice and pit early, or do you think they're going to hold on to the strategy and wait for that yellow flag and then come in for the caution flag? Pit stops is Jeff Stab now. Hold on, my friend.
Well, that's one way to get around the hairpin. It's not the most stylish way to get your tires moving to the next until we get the yellow, but that's one way to get around the hairpin corner of corner number 15. And oh no, Anderson!
Look out, Anderson. Wow. Getting ready for the Montana 200 in a couple of weeks. And there you see what happened to his truck right there. And wow, Samuel, green flag pit stops. I wasn't expecting this. Devin West is in.
I'm not surprised, but I've seen some drivers think about coming to pit road. Again, this is a strategy call, feeling like, if we're coming up to the window of the competition caution opening up, might as well come to pit road, take tires and fuel, see how much ground I can make up with fresh tires, and see if you can gain anything on the drivers ahead of you. If you decide to stay out, this could be around the opening of the window to make it all the way through, but Devin West still in pit road. Issues, black flag, too fast entering, and he's going to have to sit here on a hold for another, that of 20 more seconds.
That is heartbreaking.
It was a great
driver,
strategy,
the number 5,
Wesley, but run away.
Wow. Yeah. And here comes now Moore's truck, the Moore speed entry, along with points leader Dennis Moore. Also working around the track. Man, that's heartbreak for Devin West there, Samuel.
It is, but luckily will not be a lap down just yet. Going to be back out on track. Luckily going to be at least in front of our leader by quite a big margin over our leader. So for Devin West, it's not going to go a lap down, but certainly now going to have to do all the hard work to get back up front. Potentially, as I say that though, Devin West, I believe, might have had to take a toe to pit road. Issues on the exiting of pit road for the 5, and he's now going to have another penalty for himself.
So when it rains, it pours for the driver out of Shelton, Washington. 1 win this year for the driver, the number 5. Of course, he won the Bristol Dirt Race 2 years in a row. Good to see him back at least repetitively the last couple of weeks, because we did miss him most of the Thursday nights and even on Mondays because of his work schedule. And look at this now, Samuel. Battle going on now for 3rd. Raz and Newton, Sonoma winner. They go at it with 20 to go here at COTA, back up the hill.
Yeah, Paul Newton, our Sonoma winner, going to be trying to go after 3rd place runner Cole Raz. And Raz, this has been a great run for himself. As for Dennis Moore, he's going to call it a night, it looks like, for the 5. Troy Daggett as well going to be out of this race. He'll call it a night update on Chris White. Just got notified he was feeling under the weather here tonight. Decided to park it, but he'll see us next week at Road America.
Yeah, you know, I know COVID is still around, but there's also this summer cold. And I'll tell you, you know, Samuel, you go with the crazy 100-plus degree temperatures, and then you drop down into the 70s at nighttime and the weather and being out amongst it. And one day it's rainy, the next day it's sunny and humid. That type of weather can get to you, kind of make you be under the weather. You know, hopefully people get to feeling better, for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
As the battling into turn number 11 goes to Paul Newton, aggressive coming out of turn number 10. Makes the pass over that of Cole Raz as they're now hitting the backstretch. Going to be about 4 seconds back from our leaders, but Paul Newton doing a great job battling back at Cole Raz, and it's more so the consistency between these two drivers. Raz trying to fight on back.
I don't know what's worse, Samuel, being sick during the winter months or being sick during the summer. So definitely, as Raz will fall back to fourth, Newton will clear by him. And remember, Samuel, last time we road coursed in the Northwest for Cup and Truck, it was Paul Newton sweeping the events in that number 27.
But I don't know if Paul Newton's going to get it done this time around. Ryan Bloom right on the back bumper of that of Sean Bradesman. And I got to say, the 25 looking the strongest here tonight, just based on overall consistency besides that first corner incident.
But tonight be the night for Ryan Bloom to get his first career Northwest Racing Series Cup or Truck win. He's never done it before. He's had really great success in ARCA, but this would be a big milestone for him if he could pull it off.
It really would be, and honestly, Ryan Bloom becoming the ARCA champion, a development series last season was so helpful. We've seen so many drivers convert from that series over the Cup and Truck side of things and perform well. I mean, Kevin Smith, one of the biggest movers of that. I think the first development driver that really showed success was Dennis Moore, really carried it over into this season for the 44. And then Ryan Bloom, he was the ARCA champion last season, but he really has been struggling on the consistency side of finishing out these races with a strong finish. This season, trying to find that consistency, and it could start here tonight.
Yeah, Ryan Bloom, 5 poles, by the way. 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s for the driver of Ryan Bloom. By the way, if you want to count his pole tonight, that is 6 poles. Samuel, that's the most of anybody on the Truck Series this year. He's got it pretty figured out on putting down fast time in P1 and qualifying. Now he's got to figure out a way to get that first career Northwest win, sitting 8th in the point standings. And by the way, you mentioned Dennis Moore. He's got 2 wins on the year on top of his 2 poles, 9 top 5s and 9 top 10s. We think of Brian Barnes in the Northwest Racing Series for Cup. You could say Dennis Moore, even though he's won, has also, Samuel, put himself in a nice, consistent opportunity to be where he is.
Oh,
As
no!
Bradesman goes around as Ryan Bloom was going to the lead.
Too much pressure, and that's what you do. For that of the driver in second place, you pressure as much as you can until you make another driver in front of you make a mistake. And that of Ryan Bloom, did just that. Paul Newton easily takes second away, but now it's up to Sean Bradesman. Are those tires toasted too much, or can he come back?
Wow. Bradesman being passed by Ryan Bloom. Wonder if there might have been a little help along the way on contact. And all the while, Ryan Bloom is now the new leader. Remember, sometime between laps 16 and 21, we will see the yellow flag come out. We are working now lap number 14 this time as they work to start finish. There's the man up in front now. He's the leader in that Boise, Idaho, Boise State Broncos, number 25. Up the hill they go. Paul Newton right there in second. And Sean Bradesman, Samuel, if he didn't flat spot the tires, he's right in the cat's whisker of those guys, 2.5 back as they get ready to work around the corner. And here we come to the S's.
And going up to the track, we're seeing that of Dan West Jr., biggest mover so far here tonight, easily makes the pass into 5th place over Tyler King, but down into the S's. Will the 21 try to retaliate to get that position back? Doesn't look like he's got the strength. But Dan West Jr., highest mover of the drivers that did not qualify, and he's up to 5th. What a run by the 55. And the question is, how will Dan West Jr. be in the mix here? Remember, we still have that comp caution.
Yes, sir. 18 to go. And look at now Dan West Jr. He doesn't want to make the mistake his son did, as Devin West is still in the pits. He's in 21st position. And Samuel, all the while, Dan West Jr. has now climbed his way at one time behind in the back of the top 10, up to 5th in that 55. We got a truck off course.
That's Frank Harris.
That's Frank Harris. Yes, the 11, and no caution.
And officially 3 laps ago, Devin West has left the server. Same for Troy Daggett. Also that of Dylan Huffines, Carl Burke, as well as Chris Kamari, and Chris White as well. He added that as he was, again, calling it sick, but at least he got some points at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Samuel. I guess it just updated and says now out officially on our timing and scoring because it did just say pitting. So they are now officially out of the race. Hey, by the way, Daggett is out. Troy Daggett out. So is now Devin West, Dylan Huffines, Carl Burke, Chris Kamari. All of these drivers out here at COTA. Sean Brightsman has fell back 4.5 seconds to Ryan Bloom. And he's about to get passed by Raz as they work their way around the corner.
And now this is the battle for 3rd place that we're watching on screen, and been seeing a lot of good battles on screen recently as these drivers, for that Raz talked about it, needs to race the track, not the other drivers, and gets onto that of the rumble strips or try to get back on the throttle and gets a little wiggly. And that's going to be the big thing for these drivers, finding good braking zones as well as spots to get back into the throttle. As pit stops underway, Tyler King, Stephen O'Hare, as we hit halfway.
Very unusual that we're seeing some of these guys pit. You said maybe not. Guys that are in the back kind of just coming in as Ryan King, the number 21 is in, Tyler King. Stephen O'Hare is in. Those drivers making pit stops in 7th and 8th position. Samuel, do you see anybody else that you think going to come to pit road? Any takers in the top 5 before we see the yellow fly, you think?
I think we're going to see a couple of drivers come in throughout this time. You know, I threw it out at the beginning of the broadcast. Drivers might think about the halfway, which that is what we have hit. That's why we're seeing the 21 and the 41 hit pit road. Could see a couple of more drivers coming in periodically, especially with the unknown. We're inside of that window, Wesley, of our comp caution. From here until about that at 12 to 11 laps to go, this is our window of when we could see a caution.
Working their back in, working again back to turns number 18, 19 to 20, coming back to start and finish. And as Samuel just mentioned, this is the opportunity now where somewhere we could be seeing a yellow flag come out for a caution once they come to the start finish line. It's working now. Turn number 17 and 18 is the leaders. There is Sean Brightsman, Raz behind them. In front of them is Newton. That's 2nd through 5th, through 4th actually, as they work now back around the corner, coming to start finish line. And Samuel, again, some drivers that did pit before caution, you think that was good strategy to try to be one up on these other guys? Because here's the thing, if you're up in front, you're leading a halfway or whenever the competition caution comes out, which we know could be between this lap or lap 21, the next 6 laps on the track, they're gonna have to pit. They're gonna have to pit. There's nobody that can roll the dice and go 32 laps around this racetrack here at COTA.
Yeah, you're going to have to go to pit road. The comp caution obviously gives an opening as another driver up in our top 10, Robert Gamble, hits pit road. A lot of drivers going to be thinking about making these pit stops here past halfway, just with the knowledge of if you come into pit road, you don't lose too much time. You try to actually make up time with these pit stops. You come in at halfway or before that comp caution. You don't have to pit then at that competition caution. You can actually gain positions for everyone else that does have to pit. So it's all about gaining and trying to get as many positions as possible. But so one of the drivers that did come to pit road, Stephen O'Hare, made a major mistake, lost over 3 positions It could be a gamble that's not worth it at the end of the day, as this battle for third continues to rage on between that of Bridesman and Raz.
16 laps to go. As you see now, this battle continuing here. The Brights Boutique entry, the 2020 Northwest champion, the LSRTV CRN number 46, originally from Puyallup, Washington, now from Tucson, Arizona. Third place for Sean Bridesman. Led most of this race here till about 4 laps to go. And then Ryan Bloom looking for that first career Northwest Truck Series win. All the while, as you're on board with Bridesman from the rear, here comes Cole Raz reeling him in.
Yeah, and this is the battle for that third place, and Cole Raz has been starting to find a good rhythm for himself, trying to hit these corners as good as possible, and as well, Paul Newton's been overcooking his tires, closing in right on the bumper. Close was that a Cole Raz, but they're starting to close in on Paul Newton for second.
He says, why can't we be friends? Bridesman, a little punt there by Raz. He got him sideways himself. And you see Sean Bridesman, he's trying to get away from him. Raz is reeling him in like bait on a hook as they work their way back around to these corners. Turn number 19 and 20, and here comes Sean Bridesman. He says, yeah, you guys have at it. Oh, my goodness. All right, so Samuel, we've seen how fast he entered around those corners coming to the pits. Where does he have to be at pit road speed before he can get busted for speeding?
Well, it's going to be the yellow cones that he's already passed. It's pretty quick after the corner, and these drivers have to drop down to that of 50 miles per hour. That is the pit road speed. Pretty quick when you think about some other road courses where it's usually anywhere from 40 to 45, miles per hour. 50, pretty generous, on the fact that you come around that corner as quick as we saw there for Bridesman as well. Here's other LSRTV racing teammate, that of Dan West Jr., both coming into pit road this lap and taking off out of Dennis Moore, going to be coming into pit road as well.
And by the way, still no caution flag yet on lap number 17. 15 to go as we just passed the halfway marker just a moment ago in this 32-lap event. Welcome to coverage iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network. It's been a while since we've been on both. Hope you had a great 4th of July holiday. And of course, we're back and we're here at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. And we watch these drivers working their way around the course here. What a show they've put on so far. We've seen 3 different leaders of the event, including, of course, Ryan Bloom. He falls back. Sean Bridesman has been up there. Paul Newton has been in the contention, a battle for the lead. And right now, as it stands, Ryan Bloom now looking for that first career series win, the 2021 ARCA Northwest champion. But this, Samuel, would just top all of that. And we literally said the last couple of weeks, anything could happen as we see Kevin Smith, Stephen O'Hare. Kevin's got 2 wins this year. Audenbacher, O'Hare, all these drivers battling going on in the race course. And this is going on for 11th, 12th, 13th, and 10th.
Yeah, I thought for sure Kevin Smith was going to be almost like an absolute. I thought an absolute top 10 to top 5 runner with the pace I was seeing from that practice. Didn't qualify, though, as well as he wanted. And the 00 caught up in those early issues on lap 1. Had to utilize the fast repair. Just that on lap 3. And the 00 does a great job recovering for himself. But pit road for Paul Newton, giving our front two. Ryan Bloom, Cole Raz pulling away. And the question is for Paul Newton, will he fall behind that of Dan West Jr. in Sean Bridesman, or will he still be in front of the 46?
And remember, sometime in the next 3 laps, the yellow flag will come out between laps 16 and 21. We're on lap number 18 right now. As there is the driver, Raz, in second. Here you go. Here's the interval. Everything has just been shooken on its lid. Ryan Bloom's going to lose all that lead he has when the yellow flag is extended over the field here at COTA for full course caution. Ryan Bloom, Samuel, the leader. Cole Raz in the second position. 12 seconds back. As there you see Raz, Willen, and Dylan working his way around the turns here. Coming off the S's a moment ago. And then, of course, all the while, Sean Bridesman falls back to 35 seconds. Paul Newton, 40 seconds. 45 seconds for Dan West Jr. But here's the thing, Samuel. When that yellow flag comes out over the field, full course yellow, all that big lead margin Ryan Bloom had is going to be dissipated.
Yeah, and also another thing to remember is our top two have not pitted. That of Ryan Bloom, Cole Raz. That gap is a true gap between Ryan Bloom and Cole Raz of 14.5 seconds. Raz is really hurting on his tires, losing about that of 2 seconds or more each lap. But from third to fifth place, Sean Breisman, Paul Newton, and Dan West Jr., they've all pitted within the lap or two. So that's why they're down 30 to 45 seconds off of our leader.
14 laps to go. Ryan Bloom just wheeling and dealing, going around this race course here at Circuit of the Americas. He's coming off of turn number 20, but he's not. He's going to come to the pits. He's pitting. Wow. Samuel,
Ryan Bloom, our leader.
Do you think he just couldn't go the rest of the way before the caution?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up to lap 20 for these drivers, and starting lap 20 now. This is right around that window where drivers are going to have to be forced to pit road, but at the same time, we're closing in with a lap or two until that comp caution has to come out. So Ryan Bloom's trying to come into pit road, make sure he also has track position and fresh tires so he doesn't have to come into pit road at our comp caution.
All of this going on as he's at pit stall 1. Bloom will fall back to second. He's now less than 10 seconds back now to Raz, who is the 4th different leader of this race on lap number 19. And still, Samuel, no caution flag. We're thinking probably Cole Raz is going to have to pit next time by.
Next time by, or wait until the comp caution comes out. Again, that is going to be coming out here in either the end of this lap or the next. So right now, Cole Raz is banking on, if it doesn't come out this lap, or he's probably banking on it to come out this lap, because if he stretches it any further, that's risking on fuel for that 10 machine. But Cole Raz, he's road course racing. This isn't his specialty for the 10. Why not risk it all for a potential chance to stay out and lead more laps?
Jeff Stab now. Jack down, 4 tires, fuel for the LSRTV CRN 4K Ford. And he is back on course. Well, this race rolls on. There is, of course, the American touch-up number 21. Tyler King sits in the 9th position. Behind him is his teammate, Stephen O'Hare. How about that, Samuel? Teammates right there with one another, helping each other around COTA.
Well, I got to say, for Stephen O'Hare, this has got to be a little bit demoralizing, knowing that he made a major mistake 3 laps ago, overshooting, losing over that of 3 or 4 seconds. He's climbed back to catch up to his teammate and now pass his teammate, but he could have been running up in 7th place past Caden Anderson if the 41 didn't make the mistake that he did. Speaking of Caden Anderson, he's going to be battling side by side with that of Kevin Smith, who's in a great recovery up to 7th place. As I say, 7 drivers still have not pitted, and the yellow flag waves.
Here comes the competition caution. And to lap number 19, actually lap 20 is where they're officially throwing the yellow. 20 laps completed. 1 lap shy between that window of 16 to 21. They throw it on lap number 20. And Samuel, this gives us probably, when we go back to green, a 2-3 laps under caution. I'd say probably a 9-lap shootout here at COTA to decide the winner.
Yeah, with having lap cars, this is going to be putting us with about 8 to 9 laps of a window for these drivers. They're going to catch up to the pace car, then go into pit road, get their service for Cole Raz and others that have not come to pit road, and then they're going to have to come, then they're going to have to pace for another lap or 2, let the lap cars go on by, which could add a 3rd. So yeah, around anywhere from 9 to that of 7 laps to go, which is going to be a pretty short shootout for these drivers.
As they get ready to come to pit road, Samuel, my question is, we have Caden Anderson in the pits right now. Any of these drivers that pitted before the caution, already. Do you think they come back and pit again? Maybe.
I think the only one is Kevin Smith in my eyes. Everyone else that is already pitted, they're staying out. The highest besides that of Kevin Smith is only about 5 laps on their tires. They should be good to make it to the end. But drivers that still need to come to pit road, our leader, Cole Raz, as well as Kevin Smith in 6th. Then John Ottenbacher, he has not pitted yet. He's going to be in 10th place with Toby Ritters, that of Jaden Ledbetter, as well as Dean Moore. Going to have to come into pit road, as well as Aaron Cooper, going to be the last drivers to hit pit road here tonight. Before we get to racing action, which the drivers, they finally caught up to the pace car, but they are just entering turn 11 now.
So we reset and we see who will be the takers to come to the pits. Samuel obviously mentioning Kevin Smith. He'll peel in. Who else will be the takers to come in? Maybe none of them. As all the while, let's give you the rundown. It's Cole Raz is currently the leader. Ryan Bloom in 2nd. Sean Brightsman 3rd. Paul Newton is 4th. Dan West Jr. Your top 5. We await to see what they'll do here, as all of that is about to go down. Any takers? They still are on the other side of the road course. We're going to go to commercial break. We're back in a moment. iRacing, LSRTV, the Community Radio Network from COTA with the Northwest Trucks.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the 2nd year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle, in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN, and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too. It's broadcast personality Wesley Outland up topside at one of the great racetracks of the world, the Caraway Speedway. And I'd like to remind you to join us every Wednesday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern with coverage of Finish Line, where we talk to everybody from NASCAR to grassroots, like right here at Caraway Speedway. Carolina's Fox Sports Radio affiliates, iHeartRadio, and on the Community Radio Network at 87.5 FM. And remember, thanks to Live Sim Racing Productions, you can actually see the guest panel, ask their questions, get interactive with us with comments, and so much more in our chat box. Finish Line every Wednesday. Join us every week.
Pit stops, a plethora of activity, mistakes being made, like Dean Moore overshooting his pit box, Kevin Smith coming out. Money stop, obviously, Samuel, with 11 to go at Dakota.
Yeah, expected about that of 7 drivers to come in. We had a little bit more come in instead, as that of Cole Raz came in, expecting him to fall all the way down to potentially 13th, but had quite a few more drivers further back in the field say, you know what, let's come into pit road again. That being Stephen O'Hare, Tyler King, that as well going to be seeing that of BJ Titrick joining the fray of drivers that decided to come into pit road. Lucky dog going to be Frank Harris, but I think I'm mostly surprised that we saw, 3 to 4 drivers come into pit road. They really didn't have to. They could have gained positions, but instead, one of the fresh rubber tried to battle up against the top 6 that did not come into pit road.
Yeah, all this excitement has now settled us in for what will be a 10, 9-lap shootout when they come back around to the green flag. Welcome back to COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Community Radio Network 87.9 FM, as well as iRacing on LSR TV for those that are watching. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten here with you Thanks to Rocket Media, we are ready to bring this to the finish here. It'll be probably 10 or 9 remaining when they take the green. Samuel, is there any way that they can cut the lights off early and get a green flag, or do they have to cycle around iRacing protocol to at least get a lap or two before we can go back to green?
They're going to keep it as protocol, but there are abilities in iRacing to advance it sooner. But again, we're going to keep the protocol so nothing changes and nothing affects how these races would be run. They want to keep it consistent all the way through each and every race on the fact that it's iRacing that's making the decisions on most yellows, except for the competition caution that we have at road courses.
So mainly 9 laps to go when this green flag comes back out here, as Ryan Bloom is the man out in front. Samuel, good strategy seeing the 25 back up there. You kind of thought it was going to happen that way with the cycle of the caution?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad call by the 27 to come into pit road, get service done. Cole Raz having a little bit of an extended pit road because of slight damage that he wanted to get repaired. And so, you know, for Paul Newton, not a bad call for himself. And I think, if anything, trying to hope this might help him try to battle up front with some of the faster contenders to watch out for. I mean, Ryan Bloom is the fastest guy out here. You might as well take fresh rubber if you want an opportunity to battle with the 25, but it's going to be a tough fight for everyone to try to beat out Ryan Bloom, who's been the most consistent. But the driver that's put down the fastest lap of the night over everyone was Sean Brightsman on lap number 3.
So Ryan Bloom is the leader. Sean Brightsman second, as Samuel just mentioned. Dan West Jr. just climbed 20 spots to move to third. Robert Gamble with his points lead, battling there with, of course, Cole Raz. He sits now in the number 4 position. Jeff Stab now. Samuel, I don't want to jinx the 24. Jeff Stab now, though, having a really good run tonight at COTA.
I think you might have found the reason why I haven't been talking about him. Because I don't want to jinx him. It's a road course, Wesley. You never know what's going to happen for the 24.
I mean, you know, we want to promote him, but every time we mention his name, it seems like something happens.
We
Hopefully
promote and we cheer once the checker flag comes out and he's in the top 3.
Well, a solid run right now for the driver of the number 24. Paul Newton, at one time up in the top 3, has fell back to 6th. Cole Raz also has fell back to 6th and 7th position. Kevin Smith is 8th. 2 wins on the year. Stephen O'Hare, 9th, and teammate Tyler King for the American Touch-Up team is in the top 10. Samuel, you got the rundown from 11th on back, and the lights are off for the pace car.
I hope everyone's excited for these 4.5-minute long pacing laps. 11th place is going to be Dennis Moore, as well as Toby Ritter's Clifford going to be in 12th. John Ottenbacher in 13th. Swapping back and forth for 14th and 15th, going to be Jaden Ledbetter, as well as BJ Tidrick. 16th is going to be that of Dean Moore. Kane Anderson going to be all the way back in 17th place. It's going to be a tough toll for the 37, with Frank Harris going to be the last driver on the lead lap in 18th, and 1 lap down, Aaron Cooper in 19th. Needing some drivers to have some ultimate failures on their machines to gain any more positions.
So that's the way it stands right now in your top 20. And then several trucks that are out of the race as well that we mentioned has had some bad luck. 10, make it 9 to go. And Samuel, one thing I noticed as the lights are off on the pace car, that the also cloud cover has really settled in. This might change a big complexion of the race here. Can we look at the weather conditions now as we reach 10 to go? Obviously, oh, wow, look at that, Samuel. Holy cow. Okay, so it's now officially cloudy around this racetrack. Wind speed's the same. Air temp has climbed up from 1. That track temperature, even though they've already gone at it for 22 laps, it is still the same. It might even get any hotter there, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for these drivers, it's been fluctuating up and down a lot throughout this race. It actually climbed up to 110 at one moment in the first 15 to 20 laps, and then that cloud cover came in, really started to help the temperatures go down by 2 to 3 degrees, and now we're starting to feel the temperature drop even further than it was at the start of the race. But I'm expecting, because the wind's being 10 miles per hour, it's going to push this cloud coverage away from the track. The last 5 laps of this race could be a hot and scorcher, which means the driver's going to be slipping and sliding, trying to get everything they can.
Slip sliding away. Ready here at COTA. Hope you're ready. By the way, Hey-O Mike has a question, Samuel. How do I get the Porsche Carrera pace car, safety car? I guess you buy it on iRacing, right? You got to buy it.
Yeah, you got to go race in the GTEs and GT3s and go purchase your Porsche machines, and then also download Trade-in Paints and put the scheme on, and there you go.
And we've had somebody one time or two that have used actually the pace truck detailed wrap job as their wrap for Trading Paints in the series. As we are ready. Oh, my. I was going to say before I had that question come into the chat box, Samuel, we have seen how excited these starts have been as we get ready for the restart, as the field is working their way, hiked 2x2x2 back to the Geico restart zone to turn number 17, 18 to 19 and back to green. That this should be at least the first 2 laps, I think, Samuel, will determine who the winner will be. Your take on that? It's going to get wild here.
It matters on this first corner. If Ryan Bloom blows it again and costs himself 6 positions, it should be Sean Brightsman's race unless he makes a major mistake. Also watch out for Dan West Jr., but it's all on Ryan Bloom on this first corner on how bad he messes it up, because if it's perfect, he's going to run away and win this thing.
Don't want to make that mistake like the last time. Remember the initial start, he climbed up the hill in turn 1. As right now he brake checks everybody behind him. Front row has to go. The Bronco 25 of Bloom first, the inside on driver left of Brightsman. Green is out as they climb up the hill. Here they go. They're going to try to split them 3 wide. Somebody give them room in the corner. Ryan Bloom, this time, hits it perfectly. They're almost wrecking behind him in the back.
They're squeezing, they're melting, and O'Hare gets spun around. There goes Toby Ritters as well. Caden Anderson involved, and a lot of the majority of that started with the dive bomb move of Cole Raz. Caden Anderson gets spun at the start of the S's. 37 takes off, but just issues all around. But up front, it's also Ryan Bloom.
Every which way but loose since it happened in the back, but all the while, look at Ryan Bloom, a cat's whisker ahead by a half a truck length. It's Sean Brightsman right there with them as now they get ready to work their way off the S's. And they climb into the turn. Number 12 to 13. This is the downhill elevation part of the road course we mentioned. And Samuel, there's a lot of turtles around. You don't want to hit them and make them your enemy.
They don't at all. That's out of turn number 11. Now the bad long backstretch, the longest aspect of this track. You go up the hill, down the hill, still straight, heading to turn 12, the hardest braking zone for these drivers and the best opportunity to make a pass. And Ryan Bloom, a great exit out of turn 11. And if he can get a good launch here, could potentially pull away. But the driver with the freshest tires, Cole Raz, 3rd place, just made the pass on Dan West Jr. Watch out for the speed from the 10.
And all the while, working now, 9 laps to go. We're in single digits now in this race, 23 of 32. And look at them right there nestled with one another, coming out of turn number 17 to 18, closing in around the racetrack, making pretty good lap times. We're looking in the next 20 minutes to decide who will be the winner of this event, Samuel. As all the while, there's Raz trying to come out. Brightsman got loose off the corner into exit 19 and 20. Here he comes. Raz ready to capitalize. And off course goes Ryan Bloom. Bloom went off course. Not that big of a slip though. 8 to go as he leads, but not by much. It's cut to a quarter of a distance as they go inside, outside. You can't block both lanes as they climb the hill into turn number 1.
Trying to deke high, deke low, trying to do also a switchback is the 46. Not able to get it done, but a wiggle that gives an opportunity for the technical Raz. But coming the entry of the S's, as long as you can keep your momentum, you don't make a mistake on this first corner, you should be good. But if you make one corner mistake, it costs you all the way down through the S's.
Through the S's. And look them right there in hot pursuit. Brightsman, Raz, and West like a law firm reeling in Bloom, and Bloom will not be denied. He still holds on to that number 1 spot. And that's the thing, Samuel. You got to get in that driver's head. And if you make that one little error, you can capitalize. But also, don't let yourself get caught up in their mistake if it happens.
And it's still a marathon. I mean, 9 laps around here from the time that we had that restart. It's still a long race. You can make some major mistakes, and a lot of drivers have done so, as a lot of drivers have fallen back. Toby Ritter's had to take a tow to pit road. Kevin Smith's made some major mistakes. Dean Moore's made some major mistakes. But up front, our top 4, they've been running very clean with one another. But I think the mistake for Cole Raz, these first 2 laps, he's been so aggressive to make all the passes to get up to our 3rd place position. We might have already overcooked these tires, and we still are coming up to 7 laps to go.
Brightsman outside, driver right, driver left is Ryan Bloom. They bang fenders. There's contact. Raz got into Brightsman. Brightsman goes spinning. Raz keeps going. Now he goes to 2nd. West will go to 3rd. Ryan Bloom loved that because he can scamper away from them drivers.
Going to be over that of a 2nd at the highest margin, but Cole Raz slowly chipping away. And really for these drivers, you got to think for that long pace laps, for that 3 to 4 laps of just pacing, costed so much of your rhythm and time. As right now, side by side, going to be that of Tyler King, Paul Newton. Newton's doing a great job trying to recover for himself. But Sean Brightsman from 2nd back to 6th, 46 machine, now 7 seconds back. What looked like a fabulous run just to gain more points. Now has to be a recovery run, as that of Kevin Smith into pit road for the 00 required damage. Has to come into pit road as well. Too many incident points, as a penalty he has to serve.
7 laps to go. You saw what happened a moment ago with that little slip. Just battling for position. Raz was right up under Brightsman. West was ready to capitalize as well. And all the while, Sean Brightsman, Samuel, falls all the way back to the 6th position in front of these drivers now. That's, of course, the driver of Tyler King and Newton, Paul Newton, the Sonoma winner. This goes on 6th, 7th, and 8th in the latter stages of COTA with 7 to go.
Yeah, Paul Newton, he's done this same charge a couple of times here tonight. He's fallen back, then had to move forward, and he's going to have to do it again. Tyler King, recognizing the faster 27, doesn't want to be caught up in any messes, and tries to do a switchback crossover move. Great launch out of turn number 11. Now down the straightaway to turn 12. Side by side in the pass, just showing the strength of a better launch out of the corner. Coming to these long runs, you can gain some time, but here comes the pass. Paul Newton setting it up for turn 12.
Newton inside of King, as you said, setting it up for that position, setting it up for that pass. And all the while, this goes on. Here's the thing, Samuel, you know, we talk about distance to distance. We talk about races in the past that, you know, there could be the overtimes. You know, there could be the extended green-white checkers. But here's the deal. It's just like back in the old NASCAR days or racing days, or like when we covered the major series, when they ran the Indy 500 or the World 600 from back in the 80s a couple of weeks ago before the 4th of July break. You're going to go to the complete distance, the scheduled distance. Well, with these road course events, you get that one competition caution. That's it. You go to the finish. This is to the finish of this race. So you got to wonder when that patience factor, if you're in the top 5 or if you've got a shot to run down Ryan Bloom, who, by the way, is going to do any and everything he can, Samuel, to win that first career Northwest Truck Series a win. patience is going to get wild down the stretch. It's just a matter of when do you do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. Can you catch up to Ryan Bloom? The gap's over a second, and coming across the line, it was still a second, the difference. So it's going to be hard for Cole Raz to catch up to Ryan Bloom, and it's more so for the rest of the field. They're so spread out from one another. It's hard to really close in, make these passes. Obviously, Paul Newton's trying to close in on that of Sean Breisman, and Breisman on the older tire. Same for Robert Gamble in fourth. Gamble's been having a fabulous run for the 54, up that of 3 positions. Biggest mover is that of Dan West Jr. in third place, up the 20 positions for himself. But I got to say, for Robert Gamble, we've seen him run in other series. He run LSRTV, and he's doing a great job putting in the work at these road courses, being so consistent and kind of under the radar, which is great to see for the 54. He was usually on screen because he was caught up in a wreck.
Ryan Bloom. I got to ask you this, Samuel. What's going through his mind right now, man? What would it be for him if he could pull off and get this win? I know this would be a monster victory for this driver.
I mean, right now, just stay patient. Don't make mistakes like that. Sean Breisman losing more than 1, but 3 spots on the entry of turn 12, which was the same position that he was knocked around by Cole Raz after their accordion effect, that of just 4 laps ago. And I think if anything, it's just stay smooth, hit my marks, don't look back in my mirror, and just keep staying on track and just keep in this rhythm, because for the 25, he's running. He just last lap put down the fastest lap of the day over everyone. Cole Raz just put down his fastest lap as well, but it was a half a second off of Ryan Bloom. Cole Raz is doing everything right, but Ryan Bloom's just doing it a little bit better.
And Sean Breisman falling back more and more to the clutches of the rest of the field. 14 seconds back on the interval now to leader Ryan Bloom. Ryan Bloom is the man out in front. You see Breisman in the 8th position. He now tries to close in on King. Here comes Tidrick. Here's a driver that we've kind of mentioned tonight kind of quietly. Tidrick and Anderson battling 12th and 13th. Anderson's kind of had a pretty bad luck day tonight here at COTA, Samuel.
Yeah, I think of road courses, I think of Anderson just hoping for a top 12 finish. Like I noted on earlier, I mean, the road courses have not been the specialty for the 37. It's more so of the aggressiveness from Caden Anderson. It works at ovals, but it backfires so quickly at road courses. As right now we're seeing the 37. He knows he can be fast, but obviously that the tires make him stick there. But one mistake could be so costly for a whole entire lap. And you see there Anderson messing up in the center part of the S's, and that of BJ Tidrick able to close in the gap that he thought he lost.
Going inside and outside, working back around the course as Ryan Bloom is looking for that first win. They're in turn number 10. Anderson and Tidrick are. There goes BJ Tidrick. By the way, kind of a quiet night for him. Trucks is still in one piece. Biggest thing for Tidrick in Northwest competition as he hits the turtle and got the left front airborne was a win at Darlington. Samuel, I know you weren't part of the broadcast crew back then in May or June of 2020, but I know that's a story we always talk about. As a matter of fact, he had something kind of similar happen to you with the Crown Jewel late model stock cars at Myrtle Beach. That was the last time we saw BJ Tidrick win in the Northwest.
Yeah, one of those major Week 13 updates kind of made the server just completely collapse on itself. And it's happened a couple of times since then, some nights that we're not covering here on LSRTV, but it's happened about 2 to 3 times since that major Darlington race you talked about. But the servers just crashed, kicks out about half the field, and then we come back and we're good for racing. And I think the big thing we got to watch out for, Wesley, is here in just that of 8 to 9 weeks, when we get to, our off week, when we come back from the Week 13 update, we go back to Darlington, we could see a little bit of deja vu, but 2 years later.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, Atlanta got repaved also.
Yeah, I've been testing with that new Atlanta. It is very weird. Yeah. It is so weird. I have a lot of differing opinions on it than most people.
And mind you, NASCAR B at Atlanta this weekend. Next week, we're at Road America for the trucks. I want to make sure I'm correct on that, right, Samuel?
Yes, you are
Road
correct
America.
on it. We
Then
can't
on the
say
Pocono.
we don't know how many laps are going to be for that race.
Oh yeah, we don't know how many laps it'll be. In the Northwest Cup Series, I'll be joined, as always, with, of course, our buddy, Mr. Samuel Dyer, with Mr. Justin Prince as well. And that will be next Monday night as we settle in tonight here for the finish at COTA for the trucks. The Northwest Cup cars are back. And how about this one, Samuel? We're going to Chicagoland on Monday night. Chicagoland Speedway.
Chicagoland should be a fun one to watch, see how the draft package and drivers on top of one another, how that's going to work out, and as well tire wear. That'll be a big factor to talk about for that race. But Monday for the Cup Series, and amazing to watch how those drivers attack each and every track. Also here for the trucks, it's been incredible to watch how they're battling. And speaking of battling, on screen, watching from 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, all on top of one another.
Ready to settle this one to the finish with 4 laps to go. We're also at the top of the hour. We will step away for 10 seconds of network identification of the Community Radio Network and take this to the checkered flag at COTA. Who's going to win it? Ryan Bloom looking to make history and get that first career win.
You're listening to the Community Radio Network. Follow us via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the games at 87.5 FM or join us anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Trucks climb the hill here at COTA. Ryan Bloom is the leader. There is Jeff Stabnow in a top 5 run. Samuel, I don't want to jinx him, but with 3 to go, what a drive for COTA, for Jeff Stabnow. He is looking good at the 24.
Yeah, in that first stint that we had, it was Jeff Stabnow doing a lot of Tokyo drifting, but at this moment, he's got a lot of pressuring going on Paul Newton, Tyler King, that is Sean Breisman. Wesley, you talked about when coming to the end of this race, when does the pressure kick in? And Tyler King says, I'm not waiting for a mistake. I'll just take this position. It's mine. 21 gets by the 27, and I think right now is that time that we're seeing these drivers. If you're close to someone else, you might as well just move them out of the way.
Yes, 3 laps to go, which is the equivalent of probably less than 15 miles around this racetrack here at COTA. Look out, some close driving there. Jeff Stabnow almost bottlenecked the field behind them. And quickly, King and Newton just could not capitalize on that, Samuel, to get around him.
Well, the big thing for Jeff Stabnow is he's trying to block and defend the entries of these corners. Main thing for the 24s, he's been running about 2 seconds slower than the rest of the drivers. And there's Tyler King. Dive bomb move, get the 24 out of the way. If possible, but that of Jeff Stabnow in the more preferred aspect of this next corner. I get a little bit of a switchback. Here comes the 21, trying to get to the inside lane, not able to, but Tyler King recognizing, got to make this pass quick before Paul Newton gets to my rear end and might try to get some retaliation for the move I made earlier this lap.
Look at him, Will and Dylan King inside, coming after Stabnow. This is for 5th. And all the while, Jeff Stabnow trying to hold them at bay as they work their way around the corners. It's a 4-truck tandem as they close in around turn number 20. Coming back to start finish, the leaders have already climbed the hill. Stabnow sideways. Also getting sideways is great driving. Stabnow just got bypassed by a couple of trucks. Oh, my.
Well, that is not the 3-for-1 meal that you're wanting to get for Jeff Stabnow. Instead of gaining 3 positions, losing 3 positions. And you can kind of see what was in the mind. His brain was turning right there. Let the 21 go, get back into the throttle soon, and try to make the pass back, going on the exit of turn 20 up the hill. But it did not work out. Instead, it spun those tires. It held out Paul Newton, which gave an opportunity for Jeff Stabnow to move up. And now the 46 pressuring that of Tyler King, which King was the hunter. Now he's the prey.
Yeah, that was Tyler King, Sean Breisman, Paul Newton getting around Jeff Stabnow. And by the way, Jeff Stabnow has now lost ground to them by at least 3, 4 truck links. There he is right there as they work their way off the S's into the corners on the lower elevation of the racetrack now. On to turn number 10, 11, and 12. And all the while, the leader has a 5-second advantage over Cole Raz as the laps are winding down. There you see now, there's the battle of, well, it's King, Brightsman, Newton, and Stab now. That's 5th through 8th, right there in a tandem now, single file. And all the while, Samuel, Brian Bloom is ready to exit off of turn number 18 to 19. Got the 18th place truck of Toby Ritter's in his midst if he puts him a lap down. Here comes the rest of the cavalry now working in the part of the course where he is. As we come to the CRN 1 to go, this probably, Samuel, is the best battle on the course, as there is Ryan Bloom.
And we're hoping that our feed continues to stay up. I know there's a storm hitting Texas right now, but it's going to be Tyler King trying to defend for his positioning, but as that of Ryan Bloom crossed the line, white flag is in the air.
It's the CRN 1 to go. We are CRN.com for more information. Final time for Ryan Bloom working around turn number 1 and 2 up the high elevation of the race course. Ryan Bloom looking to make history. His first career win, if he can get it done. He works his way to the S's for the final time, Sammy D.
The goal, just be smooth, hit your marks like you've been doing for the last, that of 8 to 7 laps, and you're gonna be good to get the win, but he's only halfway through this track, actually a little bit under halfway, still trying to go through these corners, hitting that of corner number 9 right now, hitting up to corner number 10 here just over the hedge, cross the berm, turn 10 now, into the hard-braking zone of 11, where so many passing zones were made, so many aggressive moves that put Ryan Bloom in this position for first place out of turn number 11, down the back stretch, Wesley, to turn 12.
And you say halfway there, working his way, living on a prayer, looking for this win. Now the long part of the backstretch of the road course here at COTA. He'll send it now into turn number 13. And all the while, on the binders, makes that turn, the left-hander, Ryan Bloom. He was the 2021 ARCA Northwest Series champion. We started to notice improvements week in and week out since probably October, November of last year. He has won 6 poles, counting today. He will also be the winner from the pole if he could hold on to turn number 19. He works around here at COTA, the 25. Ryan Bloom, a newest member. He holds on one more corner down the front straightaway. Welcome to the First Time Winners Club. Ryan Bloom, he could coast from here. Checkered flag, Samuel Dyer. And Ryan Bloom wins his first career Northwest Truck Series event at Circuit of the Americas.
An absolute incredible run by the 25. He fell back that first lap, first corner, fell back to that of 7th and marched his way up to the lead, showing his dominance and never looked back. And then you look at the rest of the top 3, Cole Raz surviving, but Dan West Jr., probably the driver of the day, started back in 23rd place, Wesley, up to 3rd for himself.
Yeah, what a job. What a job for Dan West Jr. in the number 55. Robert Gamble behind you had problems earlier in the race. If you remember, Samuel, he comes back and has a good points day to finish in the top 5. Tyler King, Sean Brightsman, all these drivers. What a show they put on here at COTA. And man, I'll tell you this, you always remember your first. You remember your first day of school. You remember your first kiss. You remember your first breakup. You remember your first touchdown. And if you're a member of iRacing, you remember your first major win. Not taking anything away, Samuel, of what he did in the ARCA program because he won the championship. But this is definitely going to be a big moment for him a winner now of the Northwest Racing Series Cup and Truck Series Club in 9 seasons. Here is a look at the results unofficially. Ryan Bloom is the winner. Almost 6 seconds back to Cole Raz. Dan West Jr. will finish 3rd. Robert Gamble, good point stay. He'll finish in 4th. Tyler King, 5th. Sean Brightsman, 6th. Paul Newton, Jeff Stab now. Okay, he was in the top 5, Samuel, till about 3 laps to go. But honestly, a still good run. Top 10 finish for Jeff Stab now. Dennis Moore, a points leader, a top 10. Obviously, Cole Raz will probably rack up some more points. And John Odenbacher will settle for a top 10.
Then in 11th place going to be that of Caden Anderson, with that of Stephen O'Hare in 12th. That of Jaden Ledbetter going to be in that of 13th. Actually, a little bit of updates. Some drivers just coming across and some penalties were given out. So it's going to be BJ Titrick up to 14th for himself. Frank Harris will be 15th. Kevin Smith will be 16th. That of Dean Moore will be 17th. Toby Ritter's 18th with Aaron Cooper 19th. 20th going to be Devin West. Starting the drivers for that of Devin West, the drivers that could not finish. With 21st going to be that of Troy Daggett, Chris White, that of Dylan Huffines, Carl Burke. Finishing out your 25 drivers here tonight, it's that of Chris Kamari.
And look at Ryan Bloom celebrate burning it down here at Circuit of the Americas. This is a special moment. We're going to grab a word with him and more when we come back. Boy, I'll tell you what. You want to talk about celebrating, Samuel? I don't even. Oh, here we go. I thought somebody was going to give him a blow. There it is. Robert Gamble says, welcome to the First Time Winners Club. And we call it, Samuel, the Northwest High Five Salute. We'll step away. Coming up, top 3. And we'll talk to the first-time winner at COTA in Ryan Bloom. Welcome back to coverage from Circuit of the Americas, the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. Toby Ritters, there you go, buddy. He's going to spin it out as he gets ready to wind down, too. This is coverage of the Northwest Trucks at Circuit of the Americas. I'm Wesley Outland, Samuel Dyer. Great work behind the scenes covering this event by Charles Wooten, and we are now ready for the finish line post-race wrap-up. All right, 3rd place, up 20 spots, the driver. Obviously, with the high number of the race is going to be the hard charger, number 55 out of Shelton, Washington. Dan West Jr. Dan, you're taking this race, man. Finishing on the podium. 55 truck looked really, really strong. Just your take of this event and obviously being on the podium here.
Oh, I backed myself in the corner on qualifying, just cheating the curbs too much. Didn't realize that I got some incident points there, so... started at the back and had a really good truck and just took our time coming up through there. Kind of learned a lot about tire wear as we went up through there, and so the second stage there felt like we had a pretty good truck. Let Cole go just to kind of save my stuff a little bit, and then just kind of got into a racing incident there and smashed the front grill in, and from there on out we were battling temp, so had water temp flashing, and then it was coming over the radio telling me oil temp, so I was just short shifting towards the end there, but I think we had a pretty good truck.
I mean, Dan, the recovery was so spectacular to watch. Again, started back in that of 23rd, Did you feel like you had the strength to climb up for top 5, even top 3 finish? Or once you saw you had to start so far back, was it just, we'll get the best we can?
Well, exactly. I think we just get best we can because I really didn't know who was, how fast people really were up there. Being in the back, you can't pace yourself with them. So, but as that first stage went on, I felt like, as we, watching ourselves climb the ladder there, it was, I felt like, wow, you got, pretty decent truck. And I felt like it held on. It had speed towards the end.
I'll tell you what, Dan, I got to ask you this question because I know you've got your son, Devin, and you guys have been running with this a long time. What do you got to say about Ryan Bloom and his first career win? What do you think's going through his mind right now to being on a part of the Northwest family as a Victor?
Well, that's a big surprise to me to think that that's his first career win because Ryan's very competitive everywhere he goes. So, congrats on that, Ryan. I didn't realize that. Pretty much dominated this race. So, congrats to you, buddy.
Well, there's the driver of Dan West Jr. The driver, of course, in the 55 will settle as the hard charger of the race, up 20 spots in the number 3 position out of Shelton, Washington. We talked now to Mr. Cole Raz. Cole Raz had obviously a better points day over Dennis Moore, if you will. Dennis Moore had to settle for a top 10 finish. He had some ups and downs along the way. Cole, your take of this race. You're not normally a fan of road courses. Are you happy being on the podium in second? Will you take that and get ready for the next one at Road America next week, mind you, another road course?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely take that. I'm not sure if I'm able to make it to Road America next weekend, but come out second. Ryan was definitely class of the field. Congrats on his first one. That's pretty cool. And to my take as well, I'm shocked that's his first one. He's, as Dan said, he's strong everywhere he goes, and that whole group he's with is really good. So hats off to him. He was class of the field, as I said. So again, good points day. Truck's somewhat in one piece, and we'll move on to the next one.
I mean, gotta say, Cole, what a run for yourself as well. Battling up front all night long. What was one of the hardest aspects for yourself, though, at this track, as it's such a massive and so many big, heartbreaking zones?
I feel like we were pretty good in the braking zones. I struggled pretty good through the S's, just couldn't get the right balance in the truck, as we practiced earlier, and so I knew that was going to be a weak spot for us, and we got a little bit better at the caution flag there, just not enough to quite keep pace with Ryan. So, it was good to battle up front. Just couldn't manage the tires as well as I could. Lost a lot of drive off the corner. So, we'll chop it up and save it in the files, and we'll move on to the next one and try and be a little bit better.
Tell you what, let's go back to that final restart. If you could go back and do it over again, would you try to use the bumper on Bloom or Brightsman or anybody that was around there, obviously, to try to get this win? I mean, definitely there was a little contact there between you and Stabnow and Newton and all the while Brightsman, but that's happened at the end of the race with like 2 or 3 laps to go. Was the patience, you think, getting kind of crazy there the final 2 or 3 laps of the race remaining?
I felt like that restart was kind of everybody's last shot for Ryan or Sean, truthfully. You just get so spread out at these road courses after a few corners, and then you're kind of just battling with 1 or 2 guys around you. So, starting 7th on that final restart, just kind of had to make as much ground as I could. And then the incident with Sean, I just felt like it was a racing deal. Him and Ryan got into it, and unfortunately, my truck was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it unfortunately had Sean come out on the wrong end of the stick. So, I don't really think there's anything else different I could do. We just didn't have the pace to keep up with Ryan, and if there was anything to try and get that win, it just wouldn't be clean at all, and it just wouldn't be worth it. So, end of the day, I couldn't even get to his back bumper. So, it's all Ryan's night.
Well, I was going to say, good luck at the Montana 200 next weekend, but I know it's a big race up in the Northwest. You'll be a part of that, and we appreciate you always running with us. We'll let you go. Thank your sponsors.
Yeah, big thank you, LSRTV, for putting this on. Jeff, Sean, everybody that helps get this racing series up and going. It's a great series to be a part of. The Master Ranch, Wells Johnson, Whiskey Ridge, everybody that helps us out in the real racing, Jefferson Racing. And, we'll move on to the next one. I always enjoy talking with you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the driver is, of course, from Lake Oregon, Wisconsin. Of course, that's our driver of Washington, Mr. Cole Raz, and Cole Raz will finish in the number 2 position. We go to Victory Lane now, the 2021 ARCA Northwest Series Touring Champion. That was the biggest accolades of his career. He started involved with the Northwest Series. Back, of course, his first race was March 31st, 2021. In that season, he's accumulated in 78 starts, 8 poles, 6 just this year in the Truck Series, including tonight, 18 top 5s and 41 top 10s. And finally, he breaks through into Northwest Racing Series Victory Lane in both Cup or Truck Series competition. The driver of the number 25, Ryan Bloom. Ryan, congratulations, man. I know this has got to be special, your take of winning your first career win, and it being at COTA on the road course.
Oh, thanks, guys. It feels really good to finally close the deal and get that first win. And I appreciate Cole and Dan's comments. Anytime I can finish ahead of those two guys, two of the best in our league, it's pretty special. Even though if it's a road course or oval, whatever, it's just awesome to finish up there with those guys and stay out in front ahead of Cole. And I certainly didn't make it easy on myself on that start. Just missed my shift down and just overshot that corner. And so then I was like, well, just got to relax. And I know I had the speed and had the setup, so I just had to kind of crawl my way back up to the field. And eventually I did. And I think after that second restart, I knew it was going to get pretty aggressive. So I just had to make sure I hit my marks on that first turn and play a little defensive. And I think once I kind of got there, I got out in a rhythm. I do spend a lot of time on especially this track, just consistency and doing some long runs. So once I knew I got in that rhythm, I think I was feeling pretty confident I could stay out front. Of course, I did overdrive a couple corners there, towards the end, but overall, I was just happy to keep it all together and bring it home.
I mean, Ryan, yes, we saw that mistake on lap 1, but we saw that consistency come back. You took the lead at the later stages before the competition caution came out, but how much confidence did you have after qualifying and seeing that you were over that of a half a second faster than the next driver in just qualifying? How much confidence did that kind of bring into the race, knowing if I make a mistake, at least I know I'm much faster than majority of the drivers out here?
Yeah, that certainly helped. I knew I had the speed. I put in a lot of time on this track. I like COTA. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance in the Cup to really get a chance to run up front. I put myself in the hole in qualifying and just got caught up in a mess on the Cup race. But I really enjoyed this track, and I just knew I had to put in a lot of time. These next 2 races I knew were probably going to be two of my best opportunities to get a win, and so I really focused on building consistency and doing longer runs and not necessarily trying to build that 1-2 lap speed. But as I found out, I was building more consistency and doing longer runs. I kind of built on my fast lap, so just kind of built on that and was feeling really good coming into this. Like I said, put in a lot of time and was feeling pretty good. So I knew I could come back after the mistake on the first start.
Ryan, got one more final question for you. You segue that into your sponsors as well as we can get off the air here. You look at your iRacing career, you look at the trials and tribulations you went through last year and when you started, winning the ARCA Northwest Championship. I know that was special for you. I was a part of that when you won that championship race. But what can you say you've grown from that into now becoming a winner on the Northwest Racing Series, and obviously winning here tonight at COTA has got to be the seal of approval for so many drivers to say, okay, this guy can be somebody that we know can race with us, compete with us, and do it right.
Yeah, well, last year was just a tremendous experience racing the ARCA Series. It's just I learned a lot and just got so much better over the course of the year, and I really enjoyed when Jeff and Dan and Sean would come down and race with us down in that series, because that's pretty invaluable and learning and getting experience, and overall just the seat time was just really just worth a lot. So to carry that over into this season, I had a little bit more confidence. Just seat time and gradually gaining experience, improving racecraft, and road course. If you would have said my first win would be a road course last year, I would have said you're crazy, because I still don't consider myself a road course racer. But I think I find that there's opportunities there, and so I really try to get better. As I always just work hard and try to get better at everything I do. I don't like going out there and especially finishing second like I did at Sonoma. That was frustrating and motivating at the same time. So that kind of led to putting in more effort into this one. And I can say it was just great racing with a lot of great drivers, and to finally put my name up there with as a winner in the series means a lot to me.
Sponsors.
Oh yeah, just want to first of all thank my teammates Thunder Road, and shout out to Kevin. He's always been really supportive and a cheerleader for me, so I appreciate the support. And LSRTV, you guys do a great job, and continue doing the good work. And just want to shout out to Jeff and Sean for and all the admins for putting on the series and allowing me to do this and get my first win. So thanks to everyone. Appreciate it.
His first career win in the Northwest Racing Series for Cup or Truck comes tonight here after a nice 4th of July holiday break. He now joins the Winners Club. The course now climbs the points ladder into 8th, and if he continues to consist and stay in the top 20, he'll lock himself in the playoffs for a run for the championship. The driver, of course, is actually 5th in the point standings. It is Ryan Bloom. His first career win to now go with the 6 poles, most of anybody this year, 4 top 5s and 7 top 10s. Well, Samuel Dyer, that's going to wrap up the finish line post-race wrap-up and our coverage here tonight from COTA. Always fun working with you, man. Your take of this race, and, of course, it's special when you got a first-time winner like Ryan Bloom winning.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan even talked about it. Sonoma, what came up second again, that was his 4th second-place finish. And all of his finishes, highest finish was always second. But finally to get that first win, it's got to be feeling good. And knowing that all the practice that he put in during this off week came in, succeeded. And now the question is, Wesley, will he be a first-time winner? And could he be a back-to-back winner next week? It's going to be the big thing to watch out for. But I think tonight, real thing, watched a lot of drivers have mistakes, but the redemption run backs from that of Dan West Jr., also from that of Tyler King. Great job on both of them being both of our highest movers here tonight.
Yeah, you got to always remember that obviously once you get that win, you want to get that hunger and that urge to want to keep on winning. That's something we'll keep an eye on to see if Ryan Bloom can win. The Northwest Racing Series Cup cars will be in action next broadcast next Monday night, same time on the networks, on LSRTV with iRacing and on the Community Radio Network. Monday night will be at Chicagoland Speedway, Chicagoland outside of Windy City, Joliet, Illinois, on the virtual sim. Justin Prince and myself will be on the call for that on Monday. And then, of course, we're back road course and left and right turns and more at Road America in Elkhart Lake, virtual Wisconsin, next Thursday night with Samuel and myself. As always, follow us at iRacing at LSRTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and at CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. The people behind the scenes with Rocket Media and iRacing on LSR TV is Charles Wooten and Jeff Stabnow. For Samuel Dyer, I am Wesley Outland. Congratulations.